Hey guys, it's Katie. Instead of a food prep video, I'm going to do a little experimentation this week and put it all together. So maybe if things turn out, you can try them. If they don't turn out, you can avoid the same mistake. So what I'm doing today is making hamburger buns in my crock pot. I have some parchment paper laid down. I'm using the hamburger bun or hot dog bun recipe that I always use, and I just mixed it up, kneaded the dough, formed the buns, and they're going straight in here. So I'm going to turn this on high, and I'm just going to keep an eye on it because I really don't know how long it takes. I've seen some like baking bread in crock pot blog posts and videos, and it's usually a loaf of bread. So for the rolls, I'm not exactly sure, but the theory is they're going to rise and then bake as the crock pot comes up to temperature. So the crock pot's cold, the dough was just formed, so now putting the lid on and turning it on high. Here, go ahead, push the button. Push that one. Perfect. So it's on 6 hours. I don't think it'll take that long, but it's just how to get high on my crock pot. So we'll come back and see how it looks in a little bit. So here is a quick update. It's only been 20 minutes, and they rise really fast. This recipe rises really fast. There's some steam on the lid, but I don't want to open it. But if you can see, I knew that they didn't have enough room, but I figured that it would be okay if they get kind of mushed together. I'm just hoping that it gets hot enough that in there that they start to bake before they grow too much more. You can see what they look like. But anyway, that's what they look like, and that's only 20 minutes in. All right, here's an update on the bread. They have squished together a little bit more, but I think they'll be fine. It's been 2 hours. This is my first time taking the lid off, and they're browning around the edge, and they're mostly set. And like I said, they've cooked together, but I think I'll be able to pull them apart and use them individually. I don't know how much longer I want to let them go because they're definitely browning on the edge, and I'm pretty sure they're done. I'm actually going to take an internal temperature, if I can find my thermometer. Here it is. Because if you get your internal temperature up to 200 degrees, that means it will be done in the middle. So let's just take a temperature reading. Oh yeah, so those would be done. I'm thinking maybe instead of cooking them longer to try to brown up these middle ones, I might just take them out, and then when we eat them, I can put them in the toaster oven to kind of brown them up. But they're definitely cooked, and they actually look pretty decent. Like I said, it took about 2 hours for these rolls. I don't know how that would equate to like a loaf of bread or something, but I'll go ahead and take these out and we'll see what they look like on the underside. So here are the hot dog buns. I just pulled the whole parchment paper and everything out, so my crock pot is actually really clean inside, and the bread's not sticking to the parchment. That's what it looks like on the underside. A little bit browner on the ones around the edge. I probably could have taken these out a little sooner, but anyway, that was 2 hours in there. And I think they turned out really nicely. These ones are a little bit oddly shaped. I made these ones smaller for my little one, and I don't know, I kind of fit them in there. I knew that there wasn't enough room for all of these, but I went ahead and did it because that's what I need for dinner tonight. But I'm really happy with this, how this turned out. So we'll try more bread in the crock pot. I want to do a loaf because I have this loaf pan, and it actually fits perfectly in my oval-sized crock pot. This is the pan I usually bake bread in anyway, so maybe we'll try that tomorrow. Alright, so here is bread baking trial number 2 in the crock pot. I'm going to make a loaf. So this is the regular sandwich loaf that I usually make. It's whole wheat loaf. I can link the recipe down below. I just cut the recipe into thirds because it usually makes 3 loaves. So I'm just going to try one, and the only other difference to how I'm doing this to how I usually do it is I did sort of grease the top of the loaf just so it wouldn't dry out as it was rising and baking. So I'm actually gonna go ahead and put this whole loaf pan in my crock pot, and it fits almost perfectly. It's kind of suspended above the actual bottom, which might actually turn out to be better. That way it doesn't get too brown on the bottom. The hot dog rolls, I think I maybe left them too long because they did get brown, and they did get a little hard where they browned. The rest was fine though. So I'm gonna put this whole contraption, my whole crock pot and everything, outside today because I think even though it's just a crock pot and not a whole oven, and it was only on for 2 hours. I do think it contributed to my house warming up yesterday, so I'm just going to put this whole thing, I have my extension cord out back, so I'll just close this up. I just made and formed this loaf. The crock pot is cold, but it is about 100 degrees outside, or at least that's the high today. It's supposed to be like 98 or something. So I think the heat from outside will cause this to start baking even faster. So anyway, that's what we're going to try. I'll put the lid on, and then I'll check back once it starts to look like something's happening. So it's been in here for 30 minutes. It's already risen up really nicely. Actually hope that it doesn't rise too much or else it'll hit the lid, but looks good so far. Alright, this is the bread at 1 hour and 45 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and open it up. Try not to let that condensation drip onto the bread. And then feels kind of soggy in the middle still. I'll go ahead and take a temperature just to see where we're at. Yeah, this has a ways to go, but figured it wouldn't hurt to check it. I'll close it back up and let it go again. Alright, finally hit 200. I'm not sure, these center pieces feel kind of gummy, so I'll try letting it cool and seeing how it looks once it's sliced up. Alright, so I brought the bread in and I let it cool for, I don't know, 5 minutes. But it's pulled away from the sides of the pan really nicely and it doesn't seem like it's stuck. I left the whole crock pot outside right now so that it can cool off a little bit more before I bring it in. But let me see if I can get this dumped onto the cooling rack. See how it comes out of the pan. Oh, that's really nice actually. I don't know if you saw that, but it's actually a lot easier than I usually have getting them out of a regular bread pan. So just let it sit like that and then we'll cut into it after it fully cools. Alright, so it's fully cooled, it's been several hours, so let's cut this bad boy open. I have a feeling the pieces on the edge of the loaf are going to be better than the center, but that's what it looks like. It's not bad. I mean, I probably did it to myself by opening it and taking the temperature and touching it too much. So I might try this again and just put it in and leave it and not touch it till the very end and see if that helps. But that's acceptable for my family. We'll be eating this for dinner tonight. Let me cut more in the middle to see how it looks right there in the middle. Yeah, I mean it sunk down, but it's a little bit gummy. But like I said, I think I did that myself, so we'll try again and see if we can get it a little bit better, but it's not bad for not turning on your oven. Alright, attempt number 2, going in the crock pot. I'm not even going to look at it or touch it or think about it for several hours. See if that helps it turn out a little bit better. Same recipe as before. Alright, so here is loaf attempt number 2. I did not open the lid, I did not touch this, and actually it seemed to rise up in the pan really nicely and it looked really nice. Like, I think that putting the bread in the crock pot really helps it, you know, rise up and proof. But then when it baked, it like settled down. So it didn't make a divot or anything. It's just a really small loaf. And I'm imagining it's pretty dense. But again, we'll eat it. I don't know that this is really a good solution. Either it's just this recipe is not good, or you know, for loaf bread it's not. I feel like the hot dog buns turned out a lot better. They were nice and soft, they were nice and pillowy, just the way that I, you know, expected them to be. So maybe a lighter loaf, maybe not a whole grain loaf, but just a white loaf would do better in the crock pot. But anyway, I wanted to try it. I thought I would share this information with you. So if you found it helpful, leave a thumbs up. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye!